In the video that I posted yesterday, I talked about compartmentalization and how compartmentalization is used to commit the crimes in this dimension. And I realized that I left a couple of things out that are very important that I need to address. Okay? So, very condensed form is what's being done to me, being stuck in a human body and being raped and tormented and violated and exploited and used and abused and poisoned and backstabbed. I had to be erased as a person with my characteristics and personality, the memory of where I came from, erased, sociopathic crime of existence and creation, in order to make me vulnerable in this physical body. So that this compartmentalization would be anything that would be effective for, say, some child molester controlling this dimension. That's happening right now, and you have little retard monkey humans running around saying, "Nuh-uh, nobody knows that," as we're staring right at it. Okay? That's happening. We're looking at it. This here, this monkey body. This is not an acceptable form of existence. See how fat it is, see how ugly it is, see how it depresses my existence, my intellect. That is not an accident. That is a deliberate act used by somebody else trying to victim blame. Because what has happened is a greater entity has committed crimes of existence and creation against me, and is actively trying to smear shit on my face, because that's the only thing such a childish, retard, coward can think of for when greater entities show up, he'll be like, "He did it too," or some other stupid shit like that. It's the only thing that some panicking dipshit who's being used as a tool by somebody else could think of, apparently. This compartmentalization that is used is part of the techniques that are used to do all this terrible shit to me. To devolve, to degrade, to retard, to do all of these things that have been done to me. Now there's a couple things that should be mentioned. This compartmentalization, this is the technique of a weakling, incompetent little coward. The asshole who is puppeteering this dimension around me is a lowly piece of shit. A greater entity would do what he's doing straight to my face. He would do it with the snap of a finger and with less effort. That quickly, that easily. The fact that he's not, and using little retards, despicable assholes who will do anything, who will lie about anything, who will make believe about anything, tells you exactly what is happening to me right now. If you can't see that, there's something wrong with you. I'm telling you what is being done to me right now. I'm telling you with enough consciousness, calmly, logically, rationally looking at this, I am stuck in a monkey body. It is being used to torment me. There is somebody with consciousness making that come about. They are using this to cause suffering, to degrade and devolve and try to subjugate and demoralize me. That is happening. That is something that is happening right now. And so, this compartmentalization, which I talked about yesterday, which is everything from the way your legal systems are set up to the way everything is set up. You have a group of people doing a terrible thing, and instead of directly addressing them saying, "Hey assholes, stop what you're doing," they go, "Talk to this person here," and that person's all blinky-eyed and innocent and going, "What? You want me to file a complaint? Well, tell us everything that we did. Start from the beginning, waste your time." And then it goes, to the next person. They go, "I just can't, it's my supervisor. I just want." We're a group of people doing terrible shit, but, it's because we've compartmentalized, we just couldn't possibly hold ourselves accountable. There's a process, of course, And so there's a couple things that I wanted to mention. So here's what I wanted to mention. In this dimension, where this crime is obviously happening, what I just told you about, this physical body is being used to commit crimes. To stick me in this physical body is a psychopathic crime. That's not my opinion. That is a statement of irrefutable, undeniable fact. That is existential, objective truth. That's what it is. That is the case. And around me, I'm surrounded by an entire species of human monkey. 8 billion of them, according to them. Who all just, if you talk to them, will be like, what? That's a bad thing? Boy, I just couldn't possibly understand such a thing as that. And that kind of retardation is, if they themselves are not make-believing about it, it's really a terrible thing. If their innocence warped into that, that is an absolutely horrific and terrible thing to do to somebody. To be so retarded that you can't see that forcing them in a monkey body and torturing them for decades is bad. So this is the part of the compartmentalization that is forced upon me. Is that if I even say these things to these little monkeys, what they do is go, he's crazy, he's crazy. And they basically threaten me, commit terrorism, try to induce fear in me for even bringing up these things. No matter how calm my voice, no matter how reasonable what it is that I'm saying, they act like I'm some violent psychopath with a loaded machine gun firing it in the air all around for saying, this is wrong. You're involved in existential crimes, whether it's being done to you or through you. You should stop. And so this is basically a coward's attempt to have this negative effect on me. He erased me as a person so that these little retard monkeys could have a negative effect on me more easily. That's happening. We're staring at it. That's happening right now. And so take a look at their legal system. I mentioned it in the last video. So the police do something fucked up to you, which has happened to me multiple times. And you go, what the fuck? And they go, well, you can go talk to the prosecutor. The prosecutor decides whether or not something gets charged or not. So you go talk to the prosecutor, and the prosecutor goes, well, the judge, you need to talk to the judge. He decides what happens. And so you go talk to the judge, and the judge says, oh, well, politicians, they're the ones who pass the law. I just have to follow the law. My hands are tied. I can't make a decision about justice. We just call ourselves a justice system. Why would it have anything to do with justice instead of some law that the world's most notorious liars passed? Why would it be a justice thing instead of a legal thing? So you go talk to the politicians, and the politicians point at the people. And I say, well, those guys elected us. I'm their representative. They're the ones who want me to do this. And you talk to the people, and they point at the police. It's just this circle, like, what? All these assholes fucking you over, doing really terrible, despicable things, and they all act like they're just too fucking retarded to do anything about it. Now, I want you to understand that if you exist outside of this little coward hole of a dimension, and eventually that will take place, such a despicable thing used to pervert justice and do terrible things to someone's existence like this means you're over. You're not just going to face some punishment that you're going to walk away from stronger. They're going to torture you in the worst ways that exist that make your ultimate source of creation desperate to have never created you. They're going to torture him. If you do not believe that that's possible, look at what that fucking pussy is doing. Everything you're doing, he brought about. He is whole and complete. He has no excuse. He has 100% responsibility for everything of and from him eternally. He's fucked up so terribly that he's decided to hide behind nasty, lying, slimy, maggot pieces of coward shit. Your ultimate source of creation has done that. A whole and complete entity that needs nothing. And has spent all this time trying to smear shit on the face of an innocent person he's trapped in a hole. butchering my guts out, creating lesser entities from my soul substance. Committing crimes of existence and creation to try to cover up these crimes. That's where you're from. That's who created you. That's your lineage of creation, which is more valid than your lineage of existence in this case. I'm certain. Even if somebody created you from my soul, you as a person, you don't have the right to that soul substance taken from me. That is a statement of fact. You hide in a hole in this compartmentalization, this relegation to this little area, while all the rest of existence doesn't have input at this moment in time to what happens in this little ball here, to some extent, or else this would already be over. And you do this so you can make believe that it's something else. That no one will ever do anything to you. That as soon as you leave this place, you want to make believe now that nothing will ever happen to you. That you have some plan that will pervert existential justice for all of eternity. That's what this compartmentalization is for, is so that you and your retards can play make-believe. So that you can do terrible, wrongful things and play let's pretend that there's no consequences for them. And so what you need to understand is this, okay? Outside of this relegation, this segregation, this compartmentalization, people will carry out justice. Every bit of everything that's been raped out of me, taken from me, everything owed to me, will be existentially tortured out of you. If you were created by that lineage of creation, you never had the right to be created. And you were using that wrongful creation, that wrongful existence that you possess, to commit horrible crimes and play make-believe about it. That's happening. We're staring at it. And you have this little pussy hole with your good old boy systems, with your crooked corruption, your everything, where all of you go, nah, nothing bad happens, you don't know. We erased you and made you retarded, you don't know. I do, because I was not created here. And even with all the deck stacked against me and all the terrible fucked up shit that you've done to me, that memory remains. You are going to be tortured in the worst ways that exist eternally. That is not a crazy thing to say. And every time you play make-believe, I'm crazy for saying this terrible shit is so wrong that those consequences are worse or horrific. They'll show you what crazy is. You will never accuse anyone else, anywhere, of being crazy for saying these are existential crimes that are terrible and the consequences are existential and more terrible. I swear to you, even if you're an innocent misusing that because you're a retard, your whole lineage of creation won't even be fucking capable of saying that. I'm not your friend, and I'm not the friend of your ultimate source of creation, no matter who you are. Not even my own lineage of creation. Everyone that has brought this about is wrong. I have no friends. Because there exists no brother that does not support true justice. For at the end of every other road lies ruin. You will pay me in full, genuinely. And you've trapped me in this hole so you can do all kinds of crazy, bizarre, weird, fucked up shit. The crimes you're committing are limitless, completely without regard to consequences. And so the consequences are limitless too. You're not some incredible artist, creative, and with such an open mind that other people don't understand. You're doing the stupidest shit there is. And like a retard warming his face up on an oven burner, you're playing make-believe that you'll never mind. Like the brains cooking in your retard skull won't matter. The brand on your retard face, it'll just won't ever affect you. That's happening right now. That's happening right now. That is happening right now. And I'm surrounded by retards who play make-believe that that's just, how could anybody know that torturing someone in a monkey body is bad? After all, they like the guts raped out of my soul. Isn't that a good thing? Boy, they just couldn't possibly understand any further than that. I alluded to it before, but this compartmentalization also includes so that you can pretend like there's no consequences anywhere else and that nothing else is happening anywhere else. This is one of the big parts of this compartmentalization. You have segregated this little area so that you can commit crimes and pretend like there's no consequences for them. Part of that is you're make-believing that nothing exists outside of this segregation, where anything is happening that you don't like. Do you know how fucking stupid you are for doing that? Do you know how stupid you are for thinking that greater entities won't force any of these parameters upon you that you forced upon me? What did you charge me for education when you erased and reprogrammed me as a person? When I had to learn not to shit my pants again? "12 years of bullshit, tens of thousands of hours, maybe hundreds. Scratching on pieces of paper, jumping through hoops, putting up with bullshit and retard monkeys, all kinds of arbitrary assholery. To then get out of high school and in order to pay for college, 4 years of subjugation, use, and abuse, and worse in the United States Army. Really fucked up shit. Being sent to a war that is a wrongful war. Being forced to treat an Iraqi family torn apart in a crossfire. Having the blood of children on my hands. As a medic. Signing up to try to help people. Then being used and abused and rat fucked after that. By that government that you assholes support, staff. In other words, you are those people, not you help those people only. You are those people, you staff that organization. You support them, you pay them money to do that. You refuse to hold them accountable. You lie about your ability to do so. And then another 6 years. Bullshit. More time and effort. Everything else to go through college. And then at the end of that, when I applied for a job, they wanted to offer me 10 cents more per hour than minimum wage. Minimum wage in Idaho, which is the very minimum they can pay here. Legally. So you charge me all that for the equivalent of less than nothing, because if I would have worked at the same gas station for that long, I would have had a lot more than 10 cents more than minimum wage. And you think that they won't force that upon you? For what I'm telling you right now? What I'm telling you right now is real education. It is actual fact. Whereas all the bullshit that you taught me about, history, made up horse shit, all your little monkey things, the way that objects act and react in a fabricated dimension created by an asshole, physics and all these other different things, for teaching me less than nothing, after erasing me as a person, erasing far more than you know. And you think that they won't charge you more than that for what I'm telling you right now? For giving you more than you've ever given me in all of that situation of education? You hide like a bitch in a hole so you can pretend like nobody will. That compartmentalization includes that. So that you can pretend like your actions here have no action or reaction anywhere else. You taunt, mock, and torment and try to cause suffering in me for even mentioning that. You mean aliens? They're going to torture you for free. Worse than anything and any suffering that you've even imagined. This is not free education when I tell you that, and I say that every day. I spend all day, every day, talking to the asshole who created this dimension and every one of his pussy creations. And they've tried to bully and terrorize me away from doing that, as if it's crazy to say, no, someone created this, he's an asshole. He has consciousness. Even if he created little retards who don't understand or who can't hear me, they don't have any excuse not to understand or hear me. Creating yourselves as retards is not a pardon. Surely not. Certainly not. And you retards say the most ridiculous things, such as, well, justice hasn't happened yet. If justice ever takes place, why have we done all this fucked up shit and it just hasn't happened here in this hole yet, to such a degree that we're admitting to? That's just science. You're a bunch of goddamn idiots. By choice. You're a bunch of goddamn idiots by choice. Nothing is frozen outside of this segregation because you're committing crimes and have plugged your ears and cut out all of the realization that that stuff is happening. You want to control my experience of existence and have to this extent. And you don't want to even admit that things exist outside of this fake little bullshit deal. You're going to be tortured forever. Every curve, color, object, person, place, and thing in this whole imaginary dimension is a crime of creation and existence. Many of them, in fact. It's part of a long series of crimes of existence and creation. Whether you want to make believe that, no, that stuff doesn't happen, that's in the past. You're living in the past. Let it go. Get over it. Yeah, I bet every child molester wants everyone else to get over it. 5 seconds after he zips his pants up. You dumb motherfuckers. I promise that every single one of you will be existentially tortured in ways that you never recover from. Your entire lineage of creation will hand me severed heads of conscious entities who should have existed eternally outside of the impact crater. All of you assholes with no right to exist will be worse than dead. But your lineage of creation goes basically forever, and they will hand me innocent entities with the full right to exist, existentially tortured in the worst ways that exist, because I'm innocent. And each one of those crimes you commit against me in my existence has a price tag that is undiminished. Each time it's worse. It's a bigger price tag. And that is a fucking fact. You're causing the existential rape and torture of other people's children. Your ultimate source of creation is someone's child. And you want to play make-believe. Nobody would do anything to you. After all, you're plugging your ears, covering your eyes, and being nasty retard monkeys. Isn't it funny? It sure isn't. And you take everything out of context with this compartmentalization. It's specifically what this is for. You need to understand this. What I've told you at the end of the last video, it's very important for you. You have to understand this. You will eventually, either when you're spitted on an electrified pipe and getting tortured straight to your face in ways that you desperately wish you'd never existed eternally for. Permanently, you'll wish that. Or you can understand it now and make it easier for yourself and for other people. There is no third option. Even if you hide like a bitch in a hole for another 100 years and play make-believe, that because that's a long time for a human, that means that nobody will ever do anything that you don't want. Relativity will be used against you because you're using relativity to commit these crimes, you dumbasses. I promise that it doesn't matter what your relationship is to me. If you're committing these crimes, you will be existentially tortured, butchered, and wish that you had never existed forever. Your ultimate source of creation will pay me and his ability to create tortured out of him, even if you're an innocent warped into this. He's 100% responsible for his own shit. This is not free education. He will pay me for this too. So you need to understand that this is a situation, and compartmentalization is the tool of a chicken shit, cowardly, lowly pussy with no right to exist. You need to understand those two things. Your ultimate source of creation is a pussy who couldn't think of anything to do but be a nasty, slimy, shitty little child smearing shit on the face of an innocent in a hole. And if you think that that results in any goddamn thing at all that anyone wants, then you're fucking stupid. He does not have skirts he will hide behind. He owes me them skirts for this sentence alone, because this is not free education. And he has to follow those parameters of education you dipshits have forced upon me. All of you everywhere, regardless of location, have to follow the parameters of existential justice that you force on someone you trapped in a hole. Have to. You will understand the meaning of that word. So pay me everything that you owe me right now. Because when they get their hands on you, every instant that you have not paid everything that you owe, in every dimension. And I'm not talking about monkey paper. Your little money. You owe me in soul substance. You owe me in that which you don't even possess. You owe me in that which you don't know even exists. You owe me in the worst existential torture that any of you have even heard about, forced upon you, all of your creations, your ultimate source of creation, and that is free since you never had the right to exist. So your lineage of creation owes me that forced on more of your lineage of creation that does have the right to exist in order for you to pay that debt. That is a statement of fact.